Beautiful. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Pit Life Barbecue Podcast, coming to you live from the Uncle Steve Shake Studios in Stena Bonstead, New Hampshire. Thank you all for joining tonight. Like I said on last week's show, it was going to be a little different. Obviously, it's Monday night, but we're actually recording this on Sunday morning, our time, because of our guest is out of Denmark. So 8 o'clock on a Monday night does not work well Denmark time. So we're going to record this. So if I don't mention you in the chat, don't feel bad. I'll catch you technically tomorrow night on the pre-Houston show. But yeah, I'm excited about this. We were trying to decide 3.5 years now of issues and things like that, and in the making, if you will. So we're going to have a good time today. But, like I said, coming from the Uncle Steve Shake Studios, Uncle Steve Shake has amazing flavors, uses the freshest ingredients, from the original to the Gator Shake to the competition line to the dessert shake to the sauce with no name. If you can think of it for a profile, he has it for you. Great customer service. If you have any question needs, email, call. Steve's going to be the one returning your email or returning your call or taking your call, walking you through all your shake needs. Check him out at UncleStevesShake.com. Also YouTube and on Facebook, Uncle Steve's Shake Nation, to keep up to date on everything going on shake. I know he is running around with like a chicken with his head cut off, sending us videos of the tent, and he's on the grounds for the Houston Rodeo that's popping off on Thursday, and a bunch of us flying out on Wednesday, and he's busy getting it ready for the party. So check them out, UncleStevesShake.com. Shake some on everything. Let's get into it. I am so excited. Like I said, the last time this guest joined us was October 22nd of 2019. And we talked all things bacon and everything he had coming along the line. So 3.5 year delay. Please welcome back Allan Omand Ungstrup. What's up, brother?
Yeah, what's up? And thank you for having me on your show. It's definitely a pleasure.
Oh,
been a
absolutely.
few years. Yeah.
Yeah. So we are here to talk about the bacon moments of happiness. Just the name alone is perfection, Allan. Oh, well, let me do this real quick. There we go. When you said you were back in 19, when you said you were coming out with a bacon book,
yeah,
I didn't know what to expect. Obviously, I expected great things because what's not to love about bacon?
I agree.
But when the book showed up, folks, we have 320 pages of bacon.
That's correct.
That's right. 320 pages of bacon. And yeah, I've been gaining weight just reading it. but like I said, Allan, thank you so much for taking the time to join me again. I am so excited for you. I'm so proud of you. of the, everything that you've gone through with getting this book out to the market. So let's first start in, catching people up on, who you are. And then
Yes.
we'll get into the, idea of the book itself.
Yeah. Uh, I was I was earlier an auditor in Denmark, but then I had an epiphany, you can say. I didn't like the bacon that we had in Denmark, so I wondered if I could try to make it my own. At that time, I lived in an apartment in Copenhagen. That's the main capital in Denmark. And then I just tried to make some bacon. You just Google and you find some recipes, and it turns out pretty good. Then I say, why not go ahead and investigate more about what bacon actually is? And then I spent some time. I was still working there, had a full-time job. But then I said, why not quit my job, go full Monty on starting up a bacon factory where you only produce bacon, and that's the only thing you do, and just go totally nerd about bacon. So in 2015, I quit my job, and I started this bacon smokery factory, just a small one in a small town in the southern part of Denmark from my hometown. It was cheap rent, and I had the perfect location. And then I just started up. Actually, I didn't know a lot about bacon. But then when you go in and you read a lot about, read about pigs, you read about the process of producing bacon, and then you try a lot of things out, and then you find your own way, trial and error.
Mhm.
And in 2016, I went to the market. I didn't have any clue whatsoever how to sell the bacon. Anything, I think that will be easy, I said. But, I figured out that the market of bacon is really driven by consumer industrial bacon that is not very expensive.
Mhm.
And the bacon that I produced was actually pretty expensive. I took about was it $11-12 for 100 grams of bacon if you bought it when it was sliced. If you
Mhm.
bought a whole, like 2 pounds, you had to pay about I have to calculate, maybe was that 75 $70 or so.
Oh, wow.
So it was a very expensive product. My go-to market was that I attended food fairs, where you come and show off your products
Mhm.
and people taste and buy. And I tried different restaurants. I tried to get out to supermarkets, more high-end supermarkets. But then I thought, how do I get more attention? So I made a Christmas calendar or advent calendar with 10 different kinds of bacon.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
and that went totally viral. So that gave a lot of attention and marketing for my product. And then later on, I thought, how can I do it more wild? Then I made a bacon calendar with 24 different kinds of bacon. And that also went viral. It was totally expensive, but I went all over Denmark to try to find different kinds of pigs and see how all the different tastes were in those and so on. And then, in those couple of years, I gained a lot of experience. And then a good friend of mine told me, why don't you write a book about bacon? Then I said, yeah, that would probably be easy, I thought. It took me, it took me, that was in 2018. It took me 8 months. And at some point of the time, I just had a kind of a meltdown. I couldn't talk. I couldn't think. I was just totally. And then I just went on vacation for 2 weeks, and then I was ready again, And then I thought it would be probably easy to sell the book, but as all the different kinds of markets are, whatever product you sell, of course there is a competition, and everybody wants a piece of the cake in that way. So, and I didn't know how to go to the market, but I managed to sell a lot of book in Denmark, and then the year after, I thought, why not go abroad to sell it to the whole world? I just need to translate it, but I didn't have any money. So it was easy for me to say, why not go a Kickstarter? I didn't know much about a Kickstarter. I have just browsed how it works, and you Google, and a lot of people talk about it, and on YouTube, and what all you need. But it was pretty hard to gain a lot of attention for the book on Kickstarter, because Kickstarter at that point of time have become so huge that it was dominated by big players or people who had a name, who had a lot of followers and had a lot of marketing budget. And I didn't have those things. So I really tried to push it through, and also spent some money on getting marketing and all of the book out, but it failed. I only get in, I think I needed to be around 150,000 kroner. So that corresponds to about, I think it's, what is that? That's about $20,000 or so. But I only gained about $12,000 or so in the Kickstarter campaign. So it wasn't a success. And actually the money that I spent on marketing, I could have used those money to have translated the book myself. So in that way, it was in retrospective light, it was not the best decision, but I gained a lot of knowledge. And then, that was in 19. And then we came to 2020, and actually my bacon business was going quite well in Denmark. I was starting to sell to a lot of hotels and restaurants. And then then Corona came. It just destroyed my business. And I don't know what you did in the US, but in Denmark, we sat at home watching press releases about what's happening in the world and in Denmark, and all the new curfews and stuff. And my girlfriend and I, we sat and we drank some gin and tonic and ate some bacon, enjoying life in our couch. And then thought, why not start a restaurant? Why not go and make a full Monty bacon restaurant? And then I knew a guy who had a place in my town, Haderslev, that could be transformed to a restaurant. And then we started that process in, I think it was April 2020. And in October 2020, we were ready to go for the restaurant. And before we started, we say, that Corona, that will probably just be, a couple of months, then it's over. But then you start up a restaurant, and you have all the curfews and lockdowns and all of that. But we managed to get through also, as I'm educated as an auditor, I like, spreadsheet and keep budget, focus on cost and all of that. So we went through the Corona and came on the other side. So that was good. And I don't know how the restaurant business is in Denmark, but it takes some time before you get the regular customers and all the attention comes in. Even though that it was a full-blown bacon restaurant, it took some time. But now it's getting good up and running. normally they say it takes 4 to 5 years to get a good business out of restaurant, and it's probably right. So, but we manage now, and it's just going up. So that's good. And just short, the restaurant was of course focusing on bacon. So I started out just making burgers and some bacon tasting, where I tasted 5 different kinds of bacon. And then I had 4 or 5 different kind of burgers, all with bacon, of course.
Yeah.
And my take on preparing food, also what I do when I produce bacon, is that you have to do it from the ground, and there's no shortcuts. That means that I bake my own buns, I make my own mayos, I make my own pickles and so on. So all that I can do on my own from the bottom, I do.
Oh wow! So everything is self-contained. In
Yes,
you're doing it all unless you have to go outside.
yeah, and I would say that French fries, I actually buy them. I don't make French fries my own because the industry for French fries, but I spend a lot of time looking into this. They are really sharp and they're really good at making a perfect French fry, where you get the crust and you get the soft inner in the French fry. And the crust in my opinion, a French fry has to be crisp for a long time. It should not be like some do, where it's just a potato that's going like this,
Yeah.
And then, but I also fry my French fries in beef fat. That gives a lot of taste.
Yeah.
That's really good. But then the restaurant also developed, so I have more items on the menu now also. So it's not only burgers, it's also different kind of main courses, where the bacon is the main character, of course.
Yeah. What is the name of the restaurant so that people can go and check it out?
It's my middle name, Omand, and it's just written like OEMAND.DK. So it's OE. I can write it in the chat.
Yeah. If you can put it in the chat, absolutely.
Yeah. So that's quite. So that is. Yeah, everything is on Danish, of course, but as we live in a world where you can get everything translated, so it's easy.
Okay, so OEMANDS.DK.
Yes.
Beautiful.
And then, of course, was that here that was 2023. There I thought I will go again and try to get my book translated. I had a Danish customer who actually sells books on Amazon and write them in English. So she could translate my book. Okay. And we agreed that she should do that. And then at the same time, I will do a Kickstarter again. But the goal was much lower this time because I had some money that I earned up through the restaurant to get all the the translation done, and also what's called a girl who sets up everything in design, set up the graphic and all of that, everything. So then I made a Kickstarter and it succeeded. That's good. And my plan was that I will send the book directly from Amazon. They have this print on demand, where where if somebody orders one book, then they just print one book and send it out. So and then they could send it out to the whole world. So that's pretty easy. Yeah. But then after the Kickstarter, I was aware that the quality of the book was not pretty good on print on demand on Amazon. So I had to think how to because I really have it bad if I have to disappoint people if they get a crappy book, with slothy paper, or the colors are not good and it just falls apart. It was not. So I tried to figure out if I could get the book printed somewhere, and then I tried, of course, in the US. I tried here in Europe. In the US, it was amazingly expensive. It was really crazy. I really tried a lot of printing service, but it was so expensive. But then I factory from China. A lot of people get books printed in China. I get a contact there, but I was a little nervous about the quality and so. But it seems like it was a good place. And the person that I was in contact with was really trustworthy in that way. It really shined through that they were really into it. And then I signed up, and I get the book printed in China, and I get some shipped to Denmark, and a lot shipped to an Amazon warehouse in the US. And imagine how nervous I was when just to see how the book was. But it turns out that it was pretty good and good quality, so that's good.
It's like I said, it's the covers, the binder, the pages are very nice. The colors are wonderful.
Yeah.
Ooh, bacon shawarma and side dishes. Oh my!
That's a lot of good things.
Oh, ultimately, bacon, parsley, gravy, and roast potatoes. Oh.
That's a typical Danish dish, actually.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, and very typical Danish dish. I think it's actually the national dish in Denmark.
Yeah, and what I do like also, well, obviously I'm skipping ahead a little bit, but for the recipes themselves, each one has you give the recipes and description, and do it this way, heat this, 20 minutes, so and so. But then at the bottom of each recipe, you give a tip.
Yeah.
Of, like I said, we're on the bacon parsley gravy, and this tip is serve the rest of the gravy in a small bowl to make sure there's plenty to go around. I suggest you make a double batch. It's dirt cheap, and you'll avoid the embarrassment of running out of gravy. Instead of cooking the rye bread on a toaster, toast it in a pan with plenty of bacon grease and clarified butter.
Yeah.
That is a tip from the heart. You know what I mean? That's not just a standard, have a little extra on the side for it. Yeah. Like you said, to avoid the embarrassment, you throw the little jab in there.
Yeah, that's right.
Have some fun with it. And like I said, it comes from the heart. It's honest. It's passionate. And I love it. Like I said, the tuna and bacon. Oh my God. Chicken salad and bacon. Allan. Oh, my blood pressure just spiked.
And you have a good point there, because when I wrote the book, I tried to get some personality in the book also, where I try to ease it up, because a lot of recipe books are very straightforward, and in my opinion, it needs some personality and some kind of humor also to get it smooth. And also the thing that I also focused on when I made the book is to make it simple and easy to understand. I have some books that are really tough reading, where it goes very scientific into the curing process, the smoking process, and also into the dry aging project. And some of these processes I even had hard time to understand some of it, but it needs to come down on a level where you can transform it on your own in your own home, very easy. So you understand all the processes, because when you understand the processes, then it's easy to make bacon, but also to go ahead and do whatever you want. Is it brisket or whatever sausage? But do you understand all these processes? It's much easier to get ahead with other things. So of course it is a book about bacon, but you can use all this when I talk about curing and smoking and dry aging on all other products also when you do home smoking. So
it's beautiful. It's beautiful. But I am going to go back, because you said something that was very interesting when you were describing the restaurant. You were talking about a bacon tasting.
Yes.
And you had, you threw the example of 5 kinds of bacon.
Yeah. I can
How
tell you
many kinds of bacon are there?
There's a lot. It all, you have different kinds of breeds of pigs.
Yeah.
That's the first one. Then you have how the pig lives their life. Is it in a stable, or do they run free on the field?
Mm-hmm.
That has an impact on the composition of the meat and the fat, and also what the pig eat. We all know the Spanish pig, Patra Negra. The full 100% Patra Negra. They eat a lot of, is it acorn, I think? The nuts, they eat a lot of that. That gives a special flavor. And the breed is also very special because the meat has a very good marbling with fat also. So in that way, it really depends, on the breed of the pig and how they live. The other factors also how they are slaughtered. If the pig is stressful, it can impact the meat. If the pig is exhausted, it will also impact the meat. So in my book, I also write that the best way that an animal can end its life is while it looking out the field, everything is beautiful, and then you shoot it in the backyard. It sounds brutal, I'm sorry, but it is.
Oh, yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense.
That's the way. And then you can say the other part is the processing of the meat, like the curing and the smoking and the dry aging. Mm-hmm. All these 3 steps are important for what you get out of in the end result. Then of course you can also add different kinds of spices to the meat when you cure it to enhance. You can get a lot of flavors out with different kinds of spices. I even made some with gin, the liquor gin. I made with whiskey also. And I would say the whiskey, that was a success. I made it with an Ardbeg. That's a very smoked whiskey. And I don't drink so much whiskey, but I like it sometimes. Mm-hmm. My girlfriend, she doesn't like whiskey at all, and she hated the bacon. And then I know it was a success because it tastes like whiskey.
Taste, yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely. No, that's true. That because if you play with certain flavors, excuse me.
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't, after the cooking process, or between bacon, you got the curing process, then you have the cooking process. You can lose a lot of that flavor that you're trying to introduce.
Yeah.
Same with any cooking. It's especially with in the barbecue world, you take a rub, for example, any rub.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you taste it out of the bottle, and you're going to get one flavor.
Yeah.
And you're going to cook with it in the cooking process, and it's going to be a completely different flavor. You might love it out of the bottle, but hate it on the cooking process, or, it's beautiful out of the bottle, or it comes across very salty after the cooking process. So that's interesting. But if you can get keep that flavor, especially with the whiskey. So if someone who doesn't like whiskey doesn't like it because you nailed the taste.
That's right.
You nailed the flavor. You got
And
it.
you say about the 5. Currently, it's been changing what kind of 5 different kinds of bacon people taste when they come into the restaurant with bacon tasting. Currently, the 5 different types. You start with one and then you go around, so the flavor intensifies. You more you get around. The first one is what it's made. It's raw bacon. It's made from the back of the pig, so what you call Canadian bacon also.
Okay.
It's dry salted, it's cold smoked, and it's dry aged for about 4 months. So then you get a kind of ham taste. And just to make clear, as I'm a baconista, who's a guy who's really into bacon, like it, produce it, and everything. And in my world, I see the whole pig as bacon. So whatever I produce from the pig, it's bacon.
So it's not necessarily, like we have in the United States, you're going to have bacon, it's from the pork belly.
Yeah, that's
so
the normal.
You're really taking all the parts of the hog and pig and curing it bacon. So, okay.
Yeah, and it's actually, you can say that, of course, when you have the back of the bacon, like that's Canadian bacon. If you have the chin of the pig, that's guanciale, the Italian way. And then you have, where there's a lot of fat, that's lardo, the Italian and Spanish kind, and also different ways of producing the belly for bacon, how you do it. But, but that was the first one. Then you taste this one, and then you get to the second bacon, which is also a raw bacon, but from the breed, the pig. It's a pig breed that's called Duroc. That's kind of red pig.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a fatty pig also, but it has very good marbling. And then it's dry salted, cured only with salt, and then cold smoked, and then dry aged. But this one is dry aged for 2 months. And then the taste is more of very silk and very smooth, and you can taste like the pig, like kind of the umami, the salt, and a little bit of the smoke. And then the third one is also from the Duroc, but there I soft fried the bacon. And when I say soft fry, that is, normally people like it when it's crisp bacon. But before it get crisp, it's soft fried. So it's a little bit, I don't know.
That's how I like my bacon.
And there you get the full taste out of it. When I spend so much time on producing bacon, a lot of taste and flavor is in the bacon. If you fry it very crisp, a lot of the flavor will disappear. As a good steak, if you have a well done steak, it's destroyed in my world, and it's the kind I see with bacon. So then, as the third one, there was soft fried bacon. You can see how much it changes from the raw till it's soft fried from the same pig and the same kind of bacon. And the fourth kind of bacon is currently a bacon where I added black pepper. And I figured out a couple years ago that black pepper is not just black pepper. I have, there's 2 guys in Denmark who are really nerdy about spices.
Okay.
My God, they're nerdy. They're nerdy. I'm nerdy about bacon. They're nerdy about spices. So we talk very well.
It could be a match made in heaven right there.
Yes. And they're crazy. And I tasted the black pepper that they gave me, and it was really good. Really good. It's lots more deep flavor, a lot of different kinds of aromas. It was just amazing. and then I used it for bacon. Bacon and black pepper, that goes really well together. It's amazing. And then the last one is bacon from wild boar, from the woods. So it's totally wild, and
Yeah.
it has a really more very strong and gamey taste.
Yeah.
But it's amazing. It really, and it's not like they're getting a lot of bacon, because there's so much taste in the bacon that they're getting that it really fills you up.
Oh, wow.
And that's good. And then we also do a little trick when people eat the bacon. The 3 bacons that are soft fried, that's the Duroc bacon, and the one with the black pepper, and the last one with the wild boar. We say, take 2 fingers on your nose, put in a piece of bacon, chew 3 times, let go and chew again. And then you think that really odd. But when you have a cold, you can't taste anything because your nose, and you do the same here. But when you let go, then the air comes in, and it helps, because a lot of what we taste is in the nose. I don't know what you call it in English. And in that way, you really get an explosive moment, and that you can call bacon moments of happiness.
Oh, for sure.
You can also do that with with whiskey or some other liquor. I don't think you can do it with vegetables. I don't think that works. But probably with no.
But definitely bacon and whiskey for sure that'll work, and that's interesting. So you said you're using the Duroc, which is what we use a lot in barbecue. The one particular Compart Duroc from the Compart family, and but like you said, he's very fatty, very marbled.
Yeah.
Which is what we in barbecue. That's what we're looking for, is that fat content, the marbling. For breaking down, for moisture, and for added flavor and all that. But wow,
that's good.
Bacon parent, I love it. And like I said, that soft fry, that's exactly how I like my bacon.
It gives a lot more taste, and
It's like, because you get the some that when they get it crispy. With bacon, being crispy is right on that thin line of being burnt.
Yes.
So if it's on the soft side, like you're saying, you're getting that flavor and everything that's coming with how that particular piece was processed. Like you're saying, your spices, your curing process, your drying processes, and drying times. On the drying times, I found very interesting. Yeah. Now, do you have a certain time you do? Like you used a certain, I think it was, you said 4 months.
Yeah.
Do you range? Because, do you have a base and a ceiling of your dry aging time?
Yeah. It first of all, it depends on how thick the bacon slab is, the pig slab. Thicker it is, of course, it takes some longer time. Then it also, if you have to go nerdy, it depends on how much fat and meat there's on, the ratio of the fat and the meat. Then you can also add a layer in that makes the dry aging longer. If there is the skin, the rind on the pig, and then also if there's a bone in also, then it also takes longer to dry age. There are disadvantages and advantages whatever you do. Of course, the best is actually when you have the bone in and you have the rind on everything, but then it has to probably be matured for 3 months before it's finished, or 4 months. But if you pull those off, you can do it in less time. But if you have the bone in and the rind on, you can get a much more flavorful kind of bacon, because it kind of protects it and keeps the moisture more in. And another thing that's important when you do the dry aging is that you have the right climate. that is the right temperature. I have it about 4 degrees. That's Celsius. I don't know, it's in Fahrenheit, but it's under what they're, in the fridge.
Yeah.
Just a little bit under what the temperature is in a home fridge. I don't know what's in Fahrenheit. Maybe, I haven't it's about 41.
Yeah.
Below 41 Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you also, in a way, have to control the airflow in the dry aging chamber or the dry aging room, and the humidity also. If it's very moist, you get the risk that a lot of microbes, not so wanted bacteria, will grow on the bacon. If it's too dry in there, it will not dry out correctly.
Okay.
So it's getting the right airflow, like how much it blows with air inside the camper, and the temperature, and then the moisture. However, it's expensive to go out and invest in a dry aging chamber or a dry aging room. So if you just have very good airflow, you can actually manage, but you cannot do the dry aging for so many months. Except if you are in Italy, where you in some places in the mountain have the perfect conditions for growing, for making charcuterie and all of that. But it's I like to control things and know what's going on. So therefore it gets a little bit scientific, but it's actually easy when you get into it and know it. But of course, you can still produce very amazing bacon on your own with all fancy machines and stuff. It's not so rocket science. But if you want to go to next level, of course, it will increase the amount of money you use. It's probably, Johnny, it's probably the same with barbecuing, I think.
It's the same, because I can go to the local grocery store and find a brisket, that's because we got the levels, select, choice, prime, select being the bottom, I could go there and get it, rather affordably.
Yeah.
Or I can go on the old interweb.
Yeah.
And, go to something, one of the purveyors, I'll use Snake River Farms, for example, is probably the most well-known.
Yeah.
And I'll go in there and order a gold Wagyu.
Yeah.
And I'm starting, $250 to $300 just for the one brisket.
Oof.
And it goes up depending on what size you want.
Oh my God.
And it's wild. The prices here right now, Allan, are incredible, which I was gonna bring up to you. How are the prices, to get your products over there? Are they still reasonable? Because we're gonna run in this particular year, and it has already started, on the prices of our pork.
Yeah.
Are going through the roof because government is getting involved and have passed some legislation on the
is it environment taxes or so? Because we have that in Denmark also. There's a lot of talk about there will come a lot of taxes in the farming industry that will, of course, increase the cost of the meat.
But with the legislation that they passed was the sum of it is basically the living space for each animal. Now, also on a pork farm, pig farm, that if the one pig had 20 feet of a pen,
Yeah.
They now need 40 feet.
Okay. Yeah,
And
that's
it's not national, it's state by state. But obviously a lot of the farm companies are saying, well, the heck with you, I'm not shipping to your state.
ah,
So they can't get it. I know California is one in particular, just because I was listening to a show the other day and they were talking with a team from California, and they're like, I literally had to go out, buy freezers,
yeah.
and then take a road trip to Las Vegas, to Nevada, to buy
Okay.
their pork products to bring back and freeze for their competition season, because they're
Yeah.
unable to get as much and as in the quality aspect as
Yeah.
they would in the past because of this new legislation.
Yeah.
So I just didn't know if people were doing like so in the end you're paying more.
Yeah. Yeah.
So are you guys running into that over
I think the prices have been kind of stable, for many
there?
years. But what I see also now is that I was contacted by a guy who has 100% stable-free pigs, and that in that sense, the pigs live outside all the year. And the price that he gave me was a little bit more than what I pay for when I get conventional pig,
Mhm.
but the quality is much better here, much
Yeah.
better. And also a thing that, of course, increases the cost for the meat is if you are small, like a consumer, or if you are a small production area, you cannot get any benefit of buying in large quantities.
Mhm.
And then all the middlemen also has to earn money all the way. But here
Oh,
I'm buying directly from the farmer who has an set up with a slaughtery, and they make it everything. So the middleman is kind of away in that way.
yeah.
But yeah, it depends. Probably you don't know. Don't you have a lot of small farmers also where you can go and buy maybe a half a pig or
Oh, yeah,
a
yeah.
rough
We have the
or
local farmers and things like that, and
yeah,
in I guess the price is reasonable. I
yeah,
guess it depends on how you want to look at it.
yeah,
Um, Someone like me who is always cooking something,
yeah,
especially with the barbecue,
yeah,
it it can be price savvy
yeah,
to buy, a half a pig or a whole pig or, a quarter of a cow, half a cow,
yeah,
and have it processed that way to whatever cuts you would like. Um, but it's sitting there trying to explain that to somebody else. How you gonna do? It's like, okay, just go to the store.
yeah,
You go to the store, I'll go to the farm.
yeah,
We're
yeah,
gonna get the same stuff. Mine's gonna be a little bit better.
yeah,
You know, but it was funny when you had said what they eat.
yeah,
Also, I use an example of that it's very, because people are like, oh, I can't really tell the difference, for a grain fed versus a grass fed, and I use the example of bear meat.
What, bear?
Bear, yeah,
Like a grizzly?
yeah.
Okay, yes, yeah,
It's it's a very fatty meat.
yeah,
Okay, but with the bear, I've noticed the most of, you can tell what they're eating. If they're eating junk in whatever they can find in meat, that the meat is very gamey.
yeah,
Then the bears also eat a lot of blueberries and
yeah,
berries in general.
yeah,
So if you find a bear that had eats a lot of blueberries, you can literally see the difference in the fat and the meat.
oh,
That the bear that's eaten lot of the blueberries.
Yeah.
The meat is a lot darker, and the fat actually takes on a bluish tint. And then when you cut it, the meat is much sweeter.
That
It's
makes sense.
very
Yeah.
interesting, and I've only really found that in bear. But like I said, I can understand what you were saying with the bacon.
Yeah.
The diet of the pig has a lot to do with what you're gonna get in the end product.
It is. And also, it's not that if you feed the pig apples for 1 week before it's slaughtered, that will not change anything.
Mm.
You know, it has to be and diet in most of the pig's life before it actually matters. It's you know, if you eat an apple, you will not taste like an apple. You know, it's
No,
not. It takes some time before it
exactly.
goes in, and then of course how much the animal is outside, and probably the bear that just eating junk, it maybe lives back from a garbage container or whatever.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. But yes. So when did the book finally come out?
It came out. I have two versions. I have the ebook on Kindle, and then the hardback that came out in. It was shipped in. Was it in November or so to start November to US, and then it took about 6 to 8 weeks. So I think it came out around Christmas to Amazon in the US.
Okay.
So it's probably there it went into the stock. Yeah. I think end December it came to Amazon that way. But my original plan was that the book, when I had the Kickstarter in mid-May to mid-June in 2023, and then it should go out to all the backers in August, but it has to be postponed because I wanted to print the book myself instead to use this print on demand, which actually was much faster. But definitely I succeeded to get it out.
Yeah.
So now
Go ahead.
now it's just all the marketing, you know, and people have to know that the book is there, and I have to learn how Amazon works, you know.
Yeah.
Many people probably think that if you put a product on sale for Amazon, it just sells itself. But it's a very tough competition in there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And Amazon knows how to make money also. They are not stupid.
And especially with Amazon, with the as far as it comes to books.
Yeah.
Because everyone thinks of Amazon now as the one-stop shop. Anything in the world any product in the world you can think of, you can get on Amazon.
Yeah.
Correct. But they need to remember that what Amazon started out as was selling books.
Yeah.
That's
right.
what Amazon was.
Yeah.
And just they evolved over the years and saw the different doors open. But as far as selling on Amazon, the toughest one is still the books, because that's what the company was based off of.
And there's a lot of books in there. Oh my God, there's many.
Oh, you can find
anything, you know. And I also noticed when I was browsing all the different kinds of books in there, and you can get preview. There's also a lot of bad quality books in there that not because, but I don't think it's intentionally, but a lot of people think that they can just write something and then it just will sell itself. And it seems like there's a lot, and it also follows a lot of Facebook groups and other stuff also on, what's it called? Is it Reddit? And I see a lot of people also complaining that the market is overwhelming with like bad quality books, and it's hard to figure out what's good and bad. So it gets a little bad reputation also there, and people are really, whew. So it is, but it is a tough market. But I'm trying, I'm learning some new stuff about doing marketing on Amazon, and that's definitely.
Well, like I said, as far as your book goes, like I said, it's Bacon Moments in Happiness.
Yeah.
And, which is the perfect title. But like you said, you being the Baconista, and everything, just the passion and the love for bacon, and like you said, the science of it. You've incorporated all the aspects.
Yeah.
From cover to cover on it. Obviously in the beginning of the book, I'm looking here, types of bacon flavors. You have the scents. So, smoky, sweet, nutty, aromas, texture, and then, the next section you'll have you dive deep into the pig itself.
Yeah.
And, I don't know how it's going to come across, but you have a description of all the breeds.
And not all. I think there's more than 80, 100 different kind of breeds, but the kind of normal that people know.
The main ones, you got the wild boar, the Danish black, the Duroc, the Danish pink pig, all that. And you even break down into animal welfare and proper ways, and then you start getting into the curing process and methods, and dry brining and sugars and temperatures. And you even have I'm trying to spin around. Curing times.
Yes,
and shots. You're giving it all.
I'm giving it all away.
Giving it all the information, and and even right here, for instance, smoke aroma of wood species.
Yeah.
And you have the charts itself, and cold smoke versus hot, and it's different temperatures of what you were trying to do, preservation, taste experience, humidity, you dive into all of it.
Yeah.
And then you start getting into all the recipes, and it's I can't describe it. It's because this one section is, I think you referred to it as like the quirky.
There's I think that when I wrote the book, I thought to figure out what's important about bacon and what need to know. For instance, I don't have anything about history of bacon because it's the past. Now it's interesting to know where we are now.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the pig, the breed, and all of that. And then how the curing process, the smoking, and the dry aging. More scientific, I go into not scientific, but I break it all down. And then there's a chapter, Become Your Own Baconista, where I break it further down, so how you can do it at home easily. And then it comes to the part where I have some classic and quirky types of bacon, different kinds of bacon that I produce with different kinds of spices or from different kinds of pigs. And then I also have what I call a sensory experience with 16 different pigs that I produce bacon from. Pigs and farmers, where all those different kind of bacon has their own unique flavor and story to tell in a short way, so you don't have to read a novel about each, but very short description. And then I go into all the recipes, and cut your bacon right is just one thing that I'm really into. Cut it right or not so right, it sounds strange, but when you cut some beef when you cut against the strains.
Yeah,
You have to cut it right in order to make it chewy. The same issue is with bacon when you have a slab, that you have to cut it right. But even though that if you don't cut it right, you will get a more chewy experience, because it's more chewy when you don't cut it right. So that's then just go deep into recipes, and of course I have end the book with bacon and booze, where I pair some bacon with some liquor, beer, gin, and whiskey, of course.
It doesn't get much better than that.
Yeah, I agree. It's just it's beautiful.
Beautiful, yeah. It's like I said, folks. This book, it's been a long time coming. I'm glad it just finally arrived. The recipes themselves are you're gonna have your classic, uses of bacon in some of the recipes. Obviously, a bacon burger, and
there's some classic, but also try to twist it a little bit.
There's just right here a pasta, bacon, cheese, and umami egg yolk recipe. What else is chicken meatballs, white nutmeg sauce, and bacon. Different everything. I forget where the hell it was. You had a a ramen recipe with bacon.
Yeah. That was
you got a tart flambe. It covers you so much of breakfast, lunch, dinner, dessert, the pairings with with the alcohols and different things. And Allan, you did a superb job. Tremendous.
Thank you.
Tremendous. And it's great. It's a beautiful book. It feels good. It looks good. Because that's another part of it also, is the actual feel.
I agree.
And like you were saying earlier, of a cheaper or not higher quality, like you said, you feel the quality of the paper. You feel the quality of the binding in the cover. It's beautiful all the way around, and I couldn't be happier for you, brother.
That's good to hear. Thank you. And it has to, if you have a passion, if you really have a passion for something, in my opinion, you should not cut any edges. It has to be so people, when they read the book, they can feel the passion behind, and hopefully also get some knowledge about that bacon is not just bacon. There's a lot around bacon. I don't know what you have in. Yeah, you have a lot of small bacon producers in US, probably also.
You go to the store, and
there's a lot of brands,
a lot of brands. There's an entire wall at the grocery store of what you can get. Brand A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. Thin cut, thick cut, maple smoke, hickory smoke. It's actually confusing, but it's like, ooh, okay, but then you look, and then like I said, you said you had, when you were starting just before the restaurant, going to the local markets or farmers market shops, things like that.
Yeah.
I love going to those too, just to taste the wares.
Yeah.
Because you can find that, like when you were doing it, an up and comer, it's like, yes, yours is more expensive.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a higher quality. And it's, all depends on what you're looking at, because a lot of us, price becomes a major issue. No doubt about it.
Yeah.
But for a quality product, and you know it's going to be quality and consistent, it's worth spending that extra little bit on something like that, and you can figure out the price saver on another end of it.
Yeah, I agree. And it's not like you have to, every day go expensive for food, but if you just sometimes give yourself this experience, if it doesn't have to be my bacon, but also, as you mentioned, some Wagyu, or just sometimes get some extra to feel that you're actually alive,
Yeah,
absolutely. Good tasting there. So I agree. And that's the beautiful thing about all these small farmers that we also have in Denmark. They all produce some pretty good stuff, if you have the small one. All the big ones, they are, of course, it's a standardized product all the way, and it has to be produced fast and quick in order to keep it cost effective also. But where the small farmers are more thinking about making a good product, and then they take the price afterwards,
Oh, beautiful. Let me see if I had anything else.
Yeah.
It was, there was so much you could do, but like I said, from where we started and got introduced, to back in 19 and now being 24, it's like I said, a long time coming. I can't imagine the ups and downs you've had through the whole process, between excitements and heartbreaks and then like we said, when COVID hit and no one knew what that was going to entail, because they're saying, 2 weeks, and 2 weeks lasted 2 years. It's like, to be able to finally have it out, you get the translation done, so you have it in English also, and everything for fighting for the quality and all. It's
but it's like, but if you just keep
moments of happiness,
it can't be better. I
that
agree.
can't be better.
No, and it's just, if you just keep fighting, keep taking the one day by the day, next day, and so on, you will just get out on the other side, hopefully happy. And be honest, it's probably not it's not something that I'm a millionaire on this, but generally in life, I have a good life because I love what I'm doing. And that's, for me, that's of course rewarding.
Absolutely. That's all that matters. As long as you love what you're doing, nothing's better.
Yeah, it doesn't. I have a wonderful life. So it's beautiful.
Beautiful, my friend. Beautiful, my friend. Well, like I said, thank you so much for taking the time. I'm glad we were able to get the scheduling right. Because like I said before, when you were on, it was still me and Mike.
Yeah.
We were at the studio, and some things came by that end of last year that I had to leave the studio.
Yeah.
So to do something like this schedule wise is actually a lot easier.
It is. Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, you were at 3:00 your time, 9:00 in the morning here. Perfect. No problem. We were able to get it done. And just where can everybody, just so we have it all covered, where can everybody find you social media wise, websites? Obviously, the book is available also on Amazon.
Yeah. I think I have. I can show you. I have a Facebook and Instagram. That's a good question. Or maybe there's actually, I have one page that is just dedicated to my book.
The
That's
Baconista DK.
Baconista.dk.
Beautiful. So we had the restaurant and the Baconista, and beautiful, and everything.
I also have
okay.
Instagram, but I can't remember. Maybe it's. Oh yeah, and an Instagram, of course. I'm not on TikTok. I don't know how that works. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm still trying to figure all that crap out.
There's so many social things there. It's
beautiful.
A lot. Yeah.
Beautiful, sir. But like I said, thank you so much. It was awesome. Can't wait to try a bunch of these recipes out. You know, it's bacon. What's not to love?
It will not go wrong, I'll tell you. Not go wrong.
Beautiful, my friend. Well, thank you so much. Let me close this in. Hang on one second. I'll jump back in with you.
Yeah.
There we go, guys. Like I said, at least, 4 years in the making. A lot of struggles went in, but he, kept stayed in the lane, kept on moving forward. Started the restaurant, so that was another plus.
Yeah.
Check the book out. You will not be disappointed because, like you said, moments of happiness comes into one word: bacon.
Yeah.
The perfect name, folks. But yeah, hit that up on Amazon. Check it out. I thank Allan again for joining us again and everything he's done, because we all know, we love the science aspect and the deep diving on everything. So, him sharing his expertise and his knowledge, can't thank him enough. Tomorrow night. So obviously this is Monday. So tomorrow night we're going to do our pre-Houston Livestock Rodeo roundtable show. Chew the fat fest, if you will. Figure out when everyone's getting in, a couple of the plans, and going over the everything Houston Rodeo barbecue competition. So that'll be tomorrow night. I'm thinking earlier, 6:30, 7 o'clock, because I don't want to run into Brother Bill and Greg's and everybody's shows at 9 o'clock. But gives us enough time to shoot the shit and have some fun. But that'll be that's tomorrow. We'll be flying out Wednesday, back Sunday. Next Monday, the 26th, Jess Pryles, Hardcore Carnivore, will be joining me. Perfect timing, because while at Houston, we'll get to try her new line of sausage that she has at HEB. So be excited to check that out. But thank you all for tuning in. Keep looking on for notifications. I'm going to be doing a lot of content from the Houston Livestock and Rodeo. Doing a lot of interviews on Thursday with a lot of the pit masters and everybody down there. So, just keep the alerts on, and I'm going to blow up your phone in the next week or so. But thank you so much for tuning in. Until next week, keep the smoke rolling.